An exciting morning to return to talk about sports developments all across the globe. Good morning and welcome to Sports Central, brought to you courtesy of Spectrum Television. We're returning after we saw massive actions in the exciting world of sports over the course of the weekend. We'll be taking a whole look at, holistic conversations gathering around the world of sports, where we had emerging champions, especially in the WTA and ATP scene. Carlos Alcaraz winning his second consecutive title already this year. You want to talk about Jessica Pegula in the other competition? We'll take a look at that as well. The Niger Delta Sports Games is currently up and running. And as at yesterday, Team Akwa Ibom amassed double figures of medals. And it looks like it might just be quite a good competition for Team Akwa Ibom. We'll also be looking at the world of football this morning with the Nigeria Premier Football League also in sight. Over the weekend, they played matches. Remo Stars, defending champions of the MPFL, are now rock bottom, number 20 in the MPFL table. And many asking questions already, what exactly is wrong with the defending champions? I am Mutebe David. We'll talk about all of these on the show. But before then, let's first of all bring you up to speed with big development making rounds in the exciting world of sports. Welcome to the show. Well, to start the conversation this morning from home, where Nigeria's fencing sensation Nkosi Brown has achieved a historic milestone, becoming the first Nigeria ranked among the top 10 junior fencers in the world. The latest rankings released by the International Fencing Federation place the 18-year-old 10th in the men's Sibra junior category. With 68.75 points, Brown is now the second highest ranked African, behind Egypt's Ahmed Hesham, who sits 7th with 76 points. Despite the quarterfinal exit at the 2026 African Junior Fencing Championships in Dakar, Brown's rise has been given by his 6th place finish at the 2026 IE World Cup in Dakar. Brown, grandson of former NAFDAC General Director Professor Dora Akinyuli, began representing Nigeria globally in October 2023. In 2024, he won Nigeria's first ever Global's men's sabre medal, a silver at the World Tunnel Satellites Cup in Iceland, and added bronze at the 2025 Africa Junior Championships in Luanda. At 16, he also became the first Nigerian selected for the All-American Fencing First Team in the United States. Away from that to the exciting world of tennis, where Thomas Martin Echeverry will not soon forget his dramatic run to capture his maiden ATP Tour title at the Rio Open, presented by Claro. After Saturday rain postponed his semi-final match, the Argentine persevered through 2 matches on Sunday and eventually earned the ATP 500 title after a 3-6, 7-6, 6-4 championship match victory against Alejandro Tabilo. Trailing Tabilo 3-6, 1-3, Echeverry appeared physically spent, likely from completing his 3-set semi-final against Vit Kopriva earlier in the day. But the 26-year-old, who in May 2024 was 1 point away from his last tour-level title in Lyon, dug into his deepest reserves to earn a career milestone. Up 18 places to number 33 in the ATP Live rankings, Echeverry will return to the top 40 for the first time since last February. And now to the WTA scene, where Jessica Pegula's run of deep finishes finally found its reward after 6 straight semi-final appearances without a title. She broke through Saturday, defeating Elena Svitolina 6-2, 6-4 in 1 hour and 12 minutes to win the 2026 Dubai Duty-Free Tennis Championships, her 10th WTA Tour level singles crown. 2 days earlier, Pegula had rallied from a set and a breakdown to defeat Amanda Nisimova in the semi-finals, determined not to let another strong week slip away. This time, she finished it. Her 10th title is her 4th at the WTA 1000 level, as she became just the 3rd American to win the Dubai crown, joining Lindsay Davenport, and three-time champion Venus Williams. Away from that, the United States won the men's Olympic ice hockey gold medal for the first time in 46 years by beating neighbors Canada 2-1 in a sensational conclusion to the 2026 Winter Olympics. The final gold medal of the Games was sealed by Jack Hughes in overtime after the USA withstood pressure from the dominant Canadians throughout most of the match. Goalkeeper Connor Hellenbuck having the game of his life. It is the first time since the miracle on ice at Lake Placid in 1980 the US's men's have won Olympic gold. And it is the first time the Americans have won the competition outside of their home country. This was the second ice hockey final between US and Canada at the Milan Cortina 2026 after the American women triumphed in their gold medal match, also 2-1 in overtime. And now to the world of football, where Berechi Zer was, of course, the Arsenal hero and was able to overcome Spurs in a nervy encounter. Arsenal made a title statement of intent by restoring their lead at the top of the Premier League table to 5 points with victory on the North London derby. The pressure was on the Gunners after they lost the 2-goal lead at relegation certainties Wolverhampton Wanderers in midweek, while Manchester City closed the gap with victory over Newcastle on Saturday evening. Spurs had high hopes of turning up the heat further in interim manager Igor Tudor's first game in charge. But Arsenal simply possessed too much class and threat for their struggling arch-rivals. Eze, who scored a hat-trick in a 4-1 North London derby win in November, was his side spearhead again with goals either side of the interval. Eze, who was on point of joining Spurs when Arsenal clinched a €60 million deal with Crystal Palace in August, put Arsenal in front from a close range after 32 minutes. Randall Kolo Muani produced a fine solo effort for Spurs equalizer 2 minutes later, only for the much maligned Victor Gyökeres to restore Arsenal's advantage with a clinical 20-yard finish with his right foot just after half-time. Unlike at Wolves, where Arsenal sat on their lead with catastrophic results, Mikel Arteta's P-Setters continued to press, adding the third after 61 minutes when Eze picked up a loose ball in the area to sweep a finish past Spurs keeper Gianluigi Vicario. Spurs had no answer as Arsenal remained in control. Gyökeres out-muscling Archie Gray to score his second in the closing moments of stoppage time to seal an emphatic win. Well, that's all we have for in sports wrap-up at this time. We take a short breather. When we return, we'll have an extensive conversation with the guys joining the show. Please stay with us.
Hello, good morning. Welcome to another exciting time. We talk about the best of stories in the world of sports at Sports Central. And my name is Vladimir Kim. And many shakeups taking place, especially in the world of football. We'll get to talk about the world of tennis also. Fencing has become a thing from a Nigerian point of view when a Nigerian is doing quite well. But in the world of football, a change has taken place in La Liga. And Barcelona going back top after Real Madrid faltered that line. And Barcelona getting a victory over Levante is that conversation. A 3-0 victory in that regard. In the English Premier League, the battles continue with Arsenal Football Club beating Tottenham Hotspur, a resounding victory in that regard. Beretches is scoring both goals, just like Victor Gyökeres also scored both goals for them. So the gap extended. City will have to battle it out afterwards. Multiplicity of conversation in the world of football also that took interest was Ademola Lookman of Nigeria scoring his first goal for Atletico Madrid over the weekend. It will be a conversation. And we'll also dive into the Niger Delta games taking place. Games started. Tema Kwabum showing class and dominance. We'll also holistically have a conversation looking at all the nitty-gritty within the Niger Delta games. I'm not alone in the house. The regular faces, the guys are here with me. Utebe David and Funny Channel. Utebe David, I'll start with you. Good morning.
Well, good morning to return, I must say. Returning off the back of the weekend that came with a whole lot of stories. But I think what stood out for me was basically about the fact that Arsenal were able to at least, win one game and, of course, try to extend that cushion at the top of the Premier League table. And it just looks like Mikel Arteta have told the boys, just continue going. Forget what happened in the last game.
forget what happened in the last game. Fanisina, good morning. Good to see you today.
Good morning, Mr. Blind. I'm excited to be part of this Man on Suit talking sport this morning.
A man on suit is the thing, though. Well, let's get to think of the conversation then. It has to do with the Niger Delta Games taking place, so exciting. We'll look at the nitty-gritty of it as a guest is standing by. We'll look at the peripheral of all the teams that have participated, 9 teams in the second edition of the Niger Delta Games, and we're talking about Team Akwa Ibom performances. Well, a guest is standing by, Mr. N6.4m, popularly known as Caretaker, a media officer for Akwa United, joins a conversation representing a team Akwa Ibom on ground at the Niger Delta game. Mr. N6.4m, good morning. So good to have you join Sports Central this morning.
Hello?
Hello, Mr.
Can you hear me?
N6.4m. Good morning. So
Yeah,
good to have you
good
join the
morning, good morning.
conversation this morning.
Well, it's my pleasure, it's my pleasure.
All right, let's get to the thick of a conversation then. When it has to do with the Niger Delta Games, it's the second edition of it. First time out, it was hosted by Team Akwa Ibom. Many people had argued about the organization of that, especially for Team Akwa Ibom. But let's start a conversation this way. Holistically, what do you make of the first day of the game and looking forward to the second day of the game?
Okay, those states have been an upgrade to what we had in Akwa Ibom, as expected, because the maiden edition was hosted in Akwa Ibom. Some mistakes were noticed, and NDPC and Dunamis Icon, the organizers of the games, have done a lot to improve on the venues, facilities, the performance of athletes, and everything that has to do with the games. And so we've been having a smooth second Niger Delta games here in Benin City, Edo State.
To do with this
Hello.
particular event. Yes, while with you, we can hear you. Let's also look at some of the teams that performed after the first day. Have seen some good performances from Team Akwa Ibom. We'll get to talk about Team Akwa Ibom with the likes of Nomi Alexander also recording a victory in the female 54 kg games. But talk to us, a top team, which state is doing the most performances after game 1? Which state is performing so well at the Niger Delta Games?
Okay, I will have to give it up for the top 3, Bayelsa, Delta, and Edo State. You have to note that Bayelsa are doing well when it comes to swimming. They have the edge over there, because if you look at the result from yesterday, Bayelsa will get 6 gold medals from swimming, and so whatever you manage from other events, you cannot get close to them. We also have Delta doing very well in the track and field, and then Edo picking some good results in different sports. For Team Akwa Ibom, it's been a good outing for us so far. Hello?
All right.
Hello?
All right, let's look at performance from Team Akwa Ibom then. We're talking about Team Akwa Ibom, some decent performance. I was looking at some of the statistics that you sent out to the sporting communities in Akwa Ibom from traditional wrestling. Team Akwa Ibom did not win any medal in traditional wrestling on Sunday. More bouts scheduled for today in swimming. Well, we're talking about Akwa Ibom swimmers competed, 9 of them, but no medals also in that. What Naomi Alexander recorded a victory in the female 54 kg category, while the male bouts ended in defeat to Bayelsa State. Team Akwa Ibom has 5 boxers in the semi-finals. What has been the performances of Team Akwa Ibom in Edo State at the Niger Delta Games?
For now, as of this time, we've had 13 medals, 2 gold medals, and 5 silver and 6 bronze. And in athletics, yesterday, the big story was 13-year-old FC Balcon winning the 800 meters, stunning older athletes to win the 800 meters gold. And then also, we are having good performances in traditional wrestling. We've had 2 medals already. Taekwondo has also raked in 4 medals so far. As I talk to you now, we've just finished the first semi-final of the women's tennis, and Etorobasi of Team Akwa Ibom has just defeated her counterpart from Edo State, and she is in the final, meaning we are surely going to get at least a medal, a gold or a silver from that event. Also happening now is the male semi-finals, where we have Wisdom Emmanuel from Akwa Ibom. He is leading against his opponent from Abia State. And so that means we will have Team Akwa Ibom athletes in the women's semi-final, final, and also in the male final. And in the weightlifting, this is our area. This is one area we are surely going to back medals. We are a strong state when it comes to power sports. And so weightlifting has just commenced today. Maybe at the end of the day, we'll be able to count 1, 2, 3 to 4 medals from that event. And so let me add, in the final expected to take place this afternoon, we have 5 athletes in that final. Jacinta Lawrence of Team Akwa Ibom is tipped to take the gold medal if you look at her performance in the heat.
A fantastic thought there. Just a last word from me. I don't know if the guys will have something to add in that direction. But when you look at the first day and the performance, 18 medals already and a projection even further. You've talked about the semi-finals we're looking forward to. So the question would be, based on the first day performance, do you think Akwa Ibom this time out would do better comparatively to the first edition which took place in Akwa Ibom, which they finished 6th thereabout?
Yeah, and from the look of things, we will have a better outing, but I don't think we will go into the top 3. Maybe 4th or 5th place finish. Last time we finished in 6th place. This time, if we get a 4th or 5th, that shows progress.
Why do you think the top 3 is so difficult for Team Akwa Ibom to make it?
That time, Delta State, Bayelsa State, and Edo State have invested a lot when it comes to infrastructure, when it comes to the welfare of their athletes. We are just starting in Akwa Ibom. You agree with me that it's only recently we bought equipment for athletes to train. So we don't expect them to start bringing in the goods immediately. We give them maybe 1 or 2 years to start competing with the top dogs.
Well, Nsikaba, good morning. You're listening to the voice of Otobe David. You've talked about amassing 13 medals so far for Team Akwa Ibom. But if you look at the indices of games now Team Akwa Ibom have participated in, which of the sports do you think Team Akwa Ibom will amass more medals? Maybe from your experience from the last Niger Delta Sports Festival and the one we're expecting that's going down already. Which of the sports rather do you think that Team Akwa Ibom can amass as many medals as possible?
Like I said earlier, we are strong when it comes to power sports, weightlifting. So without blinking my eyes, I'm going to say that we are going to get up to 6 medals in weightlifting, and maybe as good as 4 gold medals. So we are expecting weightlifting to come in and boost the total number of medals. Maybe see us with 20 medals at the end of today.
Abasi Akpan, so good to have you join a conversation this morning, giving us a wrap of what happened in day 1 of the Niger Delta Games in Benin City. Absolutely fantastic. Thank you for being a part of it. I hope to carve you in the coming days and see what the improvement has been for Team Akwa Ibom and the rest of the teams. Thank you for being a part of the conversation this morning.
Thank you very much.
All right, guys, fantastic thought. We've heard from Sekarabasi what's really taking place, and I think the key talking point that really interested everyone was the young Nigerian that Akwa Ibom had that made the difference. What's her name now? Did so well. 13-year-old. I'm trying to get the name. That's not a name so anyone should forget anytime soon. Yes, Hezeba Okon winning a gold medal in the 800 meters women's event at the age of 13. Absolutely fantastic. It shows the importance. 13. 18 wouldn't make any difference. Everyone, 18-year-old is a big lad at the age of 13. That's why it's making the round. 800 meters. 800 meters. Everyone was talking about it.
That's a long span of round.
Yeah.
Well, I think it's quite interesting and impressive for me. I saw the story as yesterday evening, and I was so impressed because we're also talking about Team Akwa Ibom also making headlines, especially in this particular sports. I was actually going through, the list of, Akwa Ibom participants in several sports. I noticed about the fact that most sports Team Akwa Ibom couldn't amass as many medals as possible. Some couldn't even get on day 1. But I just think since it's the start of a competition, we're expecting more medals before the end of this particular one. This is just an eye-opener. More games to come.
More games to come, which we're talking about, and Sikakpan giving us all the brief we need to look at and talk about when it has to do with this one. Let's talk about for the games that take place and for the driving factor that comes with it, because it's necessary for us to understand what the driving factor would be. Now, it would be a story of Echeverry. Echeverry has been absolutely fantastic at the Rio Open tournament, Marathon Day, clinching first ATP title in Rio de Janeiro. Well, funny thing, we've talked about the ATP games and what is happening in the ATP games, excitement, but Echeverry being the marksman here.
Well, I think he's done quite well for himself, especially the fact that he had to play 2 games on Sunday rather, to get to the victory, because his game on Saturday was a bit postponed due to bad weather condition, and he had to play both his semi-final and his final on the same day. So some would have expected it to be a difficult task for him. When you have to face 2 opponents at the same day, you have to prepare for 2 different opponents. You don't have time to train and rest before the next game. But Thomas Echeverry had to do it, and now he's back in the top 40 in the world. Excited to see where he goes, because that's usually his ceiling. He has to break through that ceiling if he wants to be taken as a top superstar. He's always constantly the top 40, but never really broken into the top 20 in the world. So we're expecting that to happen. Start of the year, he's got the title already. Let's see how it pans out for him.
Let's see how it pans out for him. A similar still in the world of tennis, it would be that of the Delray Beach Open. Well, Sebastian Corda making the difference, winning the All-American duel and claiming Delray Beach a crown. Similarly at the Qatar Open, it was a ruthless Alcaraz winning a Qatar Open inside 50 minutes. Just simple from Carlos Alcaraz. Well, to David, the fantasy we've always talked about for Carlos Alcaraz, and that whenever Carlos Alcaraz features in a tall level game with Yannick Sinner, none of them gets to win it. He's broken that dog and he's won it. Absolutely fantastic for Carlos Alcaraz.
I must say, a very good run for Carlos Alcaraz. It's a good start to the year 2026. Already 2 titles to his name. One ATP 500, the other was, of course,
and still unbeaten.
And still unbeaten, as a matter of fact. So I think everything goes in his favor at the moment. And also, with the euphoria of being the current world #1, it looks like everything is settling in place for him. I was actually looking at the final between Yannick Sinner and Carlos Alcaraz, but unfortunately, the loser to Carlos Alcaraz was the man who knocked out Yannick Sinner in the semi-final. So it was rather unfortunate. But Carlos, at the moment, whether or not we'll see him defeated in the next competition, I do not know. But I think at the moment, the man is really having the time of his life. And it was also deserving for me getting this particular title.
Quite deserving getting the title. To Davis talk about it after beating Franz Fields away 6-2, a victory in this one. Something to really talk about and be excited about for Carlos Alcaraz. Other games that took place was the Rio doubles. Home hopes, Fonseca and Melo clinching Rio de Janeiro title. And we're talking about Dubai Championship. Jessica Pegula defeating Vitolina, the Ukrainian international in Dubai, to win a 10 title, a 4th WTA 1000 title for him. In the MMA was Strickland dominating Hernandez in the TKO, a knockout, technical knockout, a win at the UFC fight night. Well, unfortunately, we put that side by side as we move into talking about basketball, because a whole lot of games took place in the world of basketball. Tyrese Maxey scoring 39 in 76 as 135-108 win over Timberwolves. Similarly, the likes of Towns also having 28 points and 11 rebounds as Knicks atop the Bulls 105-99. Put that side by side with which games stood out for you in the world of basketball.
Well, I think for Sean Strickland, it was all about getting back into action, because bulk of last year he stood out. He had an incident, at a particular event where he was involved in a brawl, and the UFC punished him by, making him stay out for a lot of bouts. So last year he had just 1 fight. So he had to get back into contention, and he's won his comeback against the man Hernandez. Now he's calling out the champion. He said, I want to fight for the belt. Remember Sean Strickland when he defeated Uzor N6.4m? No one gave him that chance, but he went there, did the job, got it done, and now he's against Chimaev next, and he says, I want the champion. I think I can win the belt once again. Let's see if he's able to do it. For basketball, quite excited. I think we're getting gradually, we were talking about it being a marathon at the start of the season. I think we are midway through it now. We're starting to see the possibilities of teams would have to do a lot of investment when it gets to next. I think one of them has to be the Pacers, the 76ers as well, because they've not really done well. Joel Embiid plays 2 games, 3 games. The next game is nowhere to be found and all of that. So I think the 76ers are one particular franchise who've got a lot of work to do. They need to bring in, I think, one more superstar at tops, but not just a name to build around Joel Embiid. I think he needs to be treaded. Joel Embiid has really not really done anything for the 76ers, in my own opinion. They need someone else. Maybe Giannis. He's talked about staying put at the Milwaukee Bucks, but I know that man's heart is not there. He needs to move somewhere else.
Well, big two superstars being mentioned now, Joel Embiid, all of them former MVPs, and Yannick Antetokounmpo in that regard. Fullerton are making postulation already, are going far into the season. But I wouldn't want to ask you which one should go, what should happen. We don't have the money. You have to have the money to pay for these players and decide where they're going to anyway. We can only wait and see what the reports would be. But quickly, as we get to move from basketball and talk about football, Desmond Bain had hit 36 massive points as Magic held off the Clippers 111. We're talking about 109. And similarly, the Celtics got past the likes of Lakers 111-89 for a season sweep of the reverie. And we're talking about Hornets getting past the Wizards 129-112 for 27 win of the season. Let's talk about the Celtics and the Lakers. A good performance from the Celtics, but a struggle for the Lakers.
I think it's quite, obvious season of inconsistency for those two top, franchise. The Lakers, it has been the same case. Coupled with the very fact that at some point that we had Luka Doncic playing consistently for them, we saw the Lakers doing better. And I think at the moment, though there's still, a little bit here, a little bit there in terms of consistency, as you feel, the Lakers' one season is what we're seeing in the last 3 seasons, and that to a large extent could also be, narrowed down to the fact that the man, I talk about LeBron James, it's not LeBron James we know, last season, not LeBron James we knew 5 years ago, much of his younger days, particularly with the early Lakers side. So I think it's what we're seeing at the moment. Same could also be said for the Celtics, despite getting past the early Lakers. If you also look at the number of losses they've had this season, it has been double figures of losses, and that also to a large extent shows the level of inconsistency for the side. But I think when you get the better of a big franchise as big as the LA Lakers, it also brings some level of momentum back to the team and believe that you can do better going even forward. And I think that's what the Celtics are doing at the moment. It will be about consistency from here, and I'm also expecting such from them.
I mean, expectations are from them, talking about the Lakers as well as the Celtics. But from us, the expectations continues because we'll go on a quick break, and when we're back, it will be football stories all around the world. We'll talk about the Nigerian Premier Football, like European football, and Wilfred Ndidi, after burying his father, has scored a wonderful goal and celebrating, giving a salute to his father's memory. Fantastic conversation it would be when we're back from the break. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back. It's your Sports Central, and my name is Vladimir Kumbutu. Diving Fullerton has shown me for company, going nowhere and ready for talking point in the world of football. And football, here we go. And now let's start football conversation from the Nigerian Premier Football League. If you really want to talk about it and wonder what could happen next, definitely who gets to win the title and where the title is going to March day 27, it's that conversation for them. Well, the results stand as stark as it is. Warri Wolves 0. We're talking about Barak FC 0, Wiki Tourists 2, Remo Stars 1, Katsina United 0, Enugu Rangers 0 yesterday, Nasarawa United 1, Bendel Insurance 0, Kun Khalifa 2, and we are looking at Niger Tornadoes 0, games that took place yesterday. The big one where the big guys had to face each other. Rivers United against the Imba Football Club ended in a draw, 1-1 draw, and the Kurudu City 1, Bayelsa United 1. Kano Pillars 3, El Kanemis 0, and Abia Warriors 1, Kwara United 0, Plateau United 4. Shooting Stars 1. Multiplicity of conversation. Plateau United scoring lots of goals. Well, unfortunately, now you've seen the weekend, how it spanned, match day 27. Some of the big guys not doing so well, but stack lots of draws in the Nigerian Premier Football League. If the Nigerian Premier Football League was part of Coupon, then a lot of people would have made lots of money from it. But at the end of it, I think the biggest performance with Plateau United scoring 4 goals past Shooting Stars.
Well, I think Yimba Football Club has to be put in that mix. You know, after the shake up by the governor of the state, Alex Oti, you would expect Yimba Football Club to continue in that light. You know, disappointing result, but they went to a team as good as Rivers United. They got a draw away from home. I think most times government interference is not so bad after all. I probably would have still seen the Yimba go on there and get beaten.
Maybe you can call this one.
The ones who appointed the former administration.
No, what I mean is you can't call this government interference.
It's called government interference.
It's honest interference. The government own it, so it's a clubs that owned by the government. So they just interfere, just like private people like Ratcliffe would interfere in his club. It's the same thing everywhere. Well, Ultimate David, we've seen the stacks now, and the leadership understands also being something to consider. Ikorodu City at #1. Makes sense now. 27 games played, 45 points. Enugu Rangers at #2, 44 points. And Nassau United #3. Rivers United #4 with 43 points. Abia Warriors. Are you surprised by the standing as it is after match day 27?
Well, I'm particularly surprised about, Ikorodu City FC side. This is their second season in the MPFL. And already we're talking about being top of the MPFL table.
It seemed like the second season.
They've got games in hand.
Yeah, I know they've got their games in hand.
About 3 or 4.
But if you also look at other teams who are following Ikorodu City, you would expect other teams to
Rivers United, they have 4 games in hand.
At some point,
And that's massive. But we've seen it happen before. You have 4 games in hand, you come back, you can't win them.
I'm particularly concerned about Remo Star. I know it's been bad for them, but I didn't expect it to be so terrible.
Yeah.
They're rock bottom now after being beaten by Wiki Tories over the weekend.
After being champions, and you're bottom of the league.
That's so terrible.
Well, I'm particularly disappointed for Remo Stars because I like when I see private investment in football. We always clamoring for more. And trust me, Remo Stars go down. Probably the owner of the team will look at it and say, why should I invest? That's it. That's it. Because look at what's happened with Sporting Lagos. At a point, they're one of the most talked about teams in the MPFL. They were paying players huge amount of money to come play for Sporting Lagos.
The same thing.
No, I'm just looking at Bandresa never made it to the MPFL now.
But it seems different from Ikorodu City. It's your private.
Ikorodu City is private.
Yeah.
Exciting.
It's more like a community club.
Yeah. So I want to see these teams do better. So the other people like the Aliko Dangotes of Nigeria, people like the Adelekes, they've got enough money to sponsor teams. That's how we start. Look at Manchester United. Ratcliffe is a billionaire in Britain. That's why he has the club. Look at Chelsea. Todd Bowley is a billionaire in the United States. So our billionaires have to start putting their money into football. And if you're looking at other private teams like Remo Stars,
a cheeky smile from David. I do not know why he's putting that smile in it. But
the problem is most of our billionaires are politicians.
No, beyond that, here's the other angle. Billionaires want to be profitable.
I'm investing 5 naira. I expect a return. But when
how
you keep
profitable is the
you're
league?
not getting anything in return,
because you're supposed to be you're supposed to get paid off by TV rights.
Yeah.
It's not happening from a Nigerian point.
But it can happen when it's currently the same thing that we're seeing right now. They'll come in and change the system. That's it.
Question is, they come in and bring a lot of money and waste the money. From that point of view, except they have to just do community service.
You need money to make money. That's it.
This is it now, guys. Club size in Europe earn a whole lot of money.
Yeah.
It wasn't like that at the start. That's what you should know.
Viewing rights, jersey sales, sales of tickets.
Maybe a model has worked from a Nigerian point of view, which is community club size. Most of European clubs are community clubs. So probably it gets to work because more people within the community are told, come and invest in the team, we'll manage the team and create a sort of a board for the team. If the president of the board isn't doing well, we kick him out and bring in someone who cares for the community. The fans understand and contribute, buying money is that way. A lot of clubs in Germany in particular are built that way.
I would like to use something.
And we've seen a model in Nigeria.
I would like to use something closer to us right here in Nigeria. Look at the PSL in South Africa. I think they are, a strict example of what could happen if people actually invest in the Nigerian league. It wasn't like this 10 years ago in the South African league.
I know.
So
I
something has changed.
I know. What it means is, except you're saying,
that could
yes.
Also spark the changes. Will they be the ones that will
what would make it has to be
all about giving back to the society.
Beyond that, I agree to him. Just like at time we had Julius Berger Football Club, MFM Football Club. They were more or less giving back to society, but it's not sustainable.
It still falls back to the MPFL board because you have to present this league in a manner that attracts investors.
Well, to David, we're out of time. We got to talk about Nigerian football. We won't talk about any other thing. Meanwhile, Wilfred Ndidi had to mark emotional return with goal as Besiktas crushed a good Sepe, a 4-0, and after scoring, he did that salute and in memory of his father that he just lost. Tammy Abraham also scoring a first goal back at Aston Villa to snatch a lead point against Leeds United. Unfortunately, Leeds United are not slowing down.
No.
And many people looked at it early part of season, but recently they seem to be giant killers. And yesterday, Aston Villa had to pull that draw late in the game.
Well, Aston Villa they're no longer giants at this point, because I've looked at their last few games, they've been struggling. I talked about it. The entire midfield, which Unai Emery started the season with, they're out on injuries. John McGinn, talking about Yuri Telemans and Boubacar Kamara. So he has to deal with a new midfield. And when it's a department of the team which is as important as the midfield, you can never just get back to winning ways with a snap of a finger. So I expect Aston Villa to still drop points for that. I see them maybe even losing out on Champions League football at the end of the season.
Well, Fonitina, I'm seeing many things happening to Aston Villa. It seems like a prophet of doom for them. But you never can tell what gets to happen. Unai Emery might not agree. Afterward, it gets to bounce back. Well, Wesley Fofana saw a red card for Chelsea as a suffer last gap draw with Burnley. Which is quite surprising. Chelsea has not been able to beat. Have not been able to beat. Just let me finish before I know you seem to be such a prophet of doom for all the teams, and not surprising from a Chelsea point of view for you. But they've not been able to beat the newly promoted sides at home this season. We've seen it time and time again. And Burnley, they pulled the draw.
The big issue is that he's been under different managers now. This is happening. So many would also look at the syndrome of not being able to get maximum points against
lowly rated teams.
The Premier League. I think the game over the weekend was already in Chelsea's hands to win. They were in total control of the game, even at 1-0 until
Fofana snapped.
What happened?
And the coach decided to bring too many defenders into it.
Pulling out attackers and bringing in defenders. Are you trying to defend the 1 point? I think it was panic substitute for me from Lam Rosenior. The same thing we saw under
I think it was a sub. Was when he brought in took out Rhys James and Hoyle and brought in a Chepong and Sa. First game for Sa in a game of that magnitude. Why are you bringing him in?
Against a Burnley team?
Do you think it's panic? I just think it was just careless.
Chelsea.
Why do you bring Sa at that point?
He's coming to defend the one goal cushion.
In a derby game.
That's it. Chelsea have dropped 19 points from winning positions this season. That's the most in the Premier League.
I think they've gotten the most red cards as well.
Okay. So when you look at that, it shows that Chelsea are now a team where even if they go two goals ahead, as a fan, you wouldn't think they've won the game already.
Well, it's consequential for Chelsea from that point of view. Funny tonight, it seemed like a normalcy for them now. Quickly, we talk about Alexei McAllister's goal, giving Liverpool that win against Nottingham Forest. First half for them in that game was total dominance, dominance for Nottingham Forest, but they found a way to win it despite not performing so well. A better TSA and Victor Gyökeres scoring a brace each to outclass Tottenham Hotspur and settle title nerves. Good for Arsenal Football Club. The pressure seems to be calming a bit. City still have a game in hand, but at least an extension feels good for Arsenal.
Well, I told you, Arsenal are not done yet. I don't see them dropping points that far. Even Manchester City.
Funny keep your I told you. Remember, let me remind you. Immediately after Brentford game, we talked about here. Yeah. Funny says they always bounce back. What happened the next game?
Yeah, I know, but
they didn't bounce back. Come on, what are you saying? So don't find yourself too much. As I told you, I have your record.
They're not going to give it away easily.
Let me give you. Hold on. Let me give him for an expo. What I planned for him, I clearly forgot. I was hoping that I'll cut that version that he did on social media, that we posted on social media. And while he's talking about it, we'll just play it. But I forgot. Next time I'm going to do it anyway. Well, quickly, Real Madrid torn in stoppage time by Osasuna and title race open up. Barcelona got a victory against Levante and they're back on top of it. A solid double helps Atletico Madrid beat Espanyol to end winless run as 4-2. And the first goal for Demal Lookman. And while the games take place today would be Everton against Manchester United. And just like Hurricane double as he's Bayern Munich consolidate Bundesliga top spot. Let's talk about Everton, Manchester United as we close. Two stakeholders in the mix. Are they slowing down? Are they continuing that form?
I already reviewed my stakes. Maybe I think it will be a very difficult game, just so you know, because Everton are already informed, an informed side in the Premier League at the moment. Look at their last few games and the very fact that they're also playing at home. If you look at how lowly rated teams have played top teams in the Premier League over the course of last weekend, you would definitely see the very fact that Michael Carrick won't have it that easy. But I think the results will play for United have stand a chance to win this one as well.
United.
I think at the Hugh Dickinson Stadium, Everton have not really been solid as compared to the Goodison Stadium. If you look at the statistics at the Hugh Dickinson Stadium, they've not really made it a fortress yet. Still a new stadium, so I think Manchester United have got the advantage heading into this particular game.
Is it about the stadium structure?
Well, I think
all the fans at the stadium.
I think when you move away from a stadium that was once a fortress for you, let's there's a spirit behind
And the
football. We have
question
to
would
agree
be,
that.
has Goodison Park been that a fortress?
Yeah, it was. They won more games than they lost there.
Oh, well.
Yeah, they've not won as much as they've lost.
Well, maybe we give it time anyway. We've got to see what happens. Other games taking place in La Liga, Deportivo Alaves against Girona, and Serie A would be Fiorentina against Pesa and Bologna against Udinese, all in one contest. But we have to draw the curtain here. Further shows will take place after now. To David Fonitana, thank you. A fantastic week we're looking at.
Well, I just want to stand with the man to Rukudari. No to racism. We
Absolutely.
should not have any space for racism.
Absolutely. He missed a chance in that game for Wolverhampton Wanderers against Crystal Palace, and they lost at the end of it. He couldn't score the penalty, and he's been racially abused. Not a good thing in football. Absolutely. It's not acceptable anywhere in the world. We have to bounce here. You cannot abuse us because we're always on top of our game. I thank you for being a part of it. My name is Vladimir Kim, and tomorrow is another day.